Hey, everybody, welcome to What Drives Us, episode 339. I am not a pumpkin, but I am a pumpkin, but I'm not a pumpkin. That's enough philosophy for today. No? Mark?
No.
Oh, wow. Just like thumbs down right away. Okay. Happy Halloween tomorrow, those of us in the lower 48. Yeah, Alaska and Hawaii, you don't count.
Yep.
They don't
It's
get
not
Halloween.
there. No.
They don't get Halloween there, just the lower 48. And I had to say that because we have 2.5 Canadians on the show, and
Yeah, we don't get Halloween, right?
exactly.
Isn't it on a different day, like Thanksgiving?
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, our Halloween's July 2nd.
Because you like it during the spring. My name is Russell
'Cause you're
Frost.
smart.
I am your host for this week's journey into sustainable energy and advanced technology, transportation, or mobility if you prefer. I have an amazing cast of characters, and I do mean characters, and we have a lot of good news. So let's get this show on the road. My co-host, my friend in Chicago, where I don't think it snowed, Mr. Tony Schaefer.
Not yet, but they are forecasting some snow tonight and some snow tomorrow.
We sent it over from Colorado. So.
Yeah, I appreciate that, you bastard. Yeah, it's in fact, you can the weather map is turning pretty blue right now. I'm looking at it. Yeah, it's 42 degrees Fahrenheit here and dropping. So I have another hacker score, whatever. I have only another week to drink the Oktoberfest before it becomes Novemberfest. So I'm drinking it up.
Give like one day.
Yep.
And
Damn you and your
into-
math.
Yeah. Oh, you math people frustrate me. Well, speaking of frustrating, that voice is the owner and founder of Boulder Hybrids in Boulder, Colorado, Mr. Paul Guzik.
Hey, everybody. Yes, it did. We had Snowmageddon here this week in Boulder and Denver, and sold a lot of snow tires the last few days, I must say.
Nice.
So
And,
is that snow getting in the way of building the great beautiful wall in Colorado?
Right?
Yeah. No comment.
Well, speaking of people from colder climates, and who knows, it might be warmer there than it is here today. He is not on the show often enough, but we love to have him whenever he can make it on. He is, in addition to the President of Canada, a super knowledgeable guy, and he brought some really amazing video. Mr. Jon B.
Hey everyone. Yeah, well, it's not that much warmer. It's 44 Fahrenheit, 7 Celsius. But it is sunny. So the sun does make its appearance on the West Coast.
There you go. See, we had Santa Ana's today, so it was windy and clear. Well, speaking of Canada, our next friend is in Virginia. How's that?
Ooh, the bait and switch.
Puckle's like, no. He is in the Mid-Atlantic region. He is the author of many videos about superchargers and lots of other things. Mr. Casey Green.
That's me. So right now it is 60 degrees and raining, 60 Fahrenheit, or a lovely 16 C for our Canadian friends. It's been raining all day. Yes.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
Hell
Clear.
continues in San Diego, folks. It is
You have
hell.
power. You don't have smoke. Oh my goodness. It's just a lovely day.
Got smoke in the background. And last and not least, my good friend in Canada. You can see he's friendly. He's a nice guy. Mr. Mark Coughlin.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. And for those that were concerned about that Colorado wall that we were talking about earlier, I just thought I'd show you a map and let everybody know the issue that's going on. So but that's a great map.
Yeah.
You guys ever noticed, they may have changed it recently, but back in the day, New Mexico license plates said New Mexico, USA. They didn't just say New Mexico.
Oh
they
my
actually
gosh.
said, because most Americans thought they were from Mexico, when they went out of state. So they had to put on it New Mexico, USA. Like you don't see Colorado, USA, or California.
Thank you, folks. It's been a great show tonight.
I feel dumber for knowing that. Yeah. Wow.
I feel diminished for knowing that.
Yeah.
I wish I didn't. Well, our first...
Or one more. My favorite, Oklahoma license plate used to say, "We're okay." Not we're awesome. We're just okay.
Hey, you know, it's Oklahoma, man. I mean,
it's okay.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's not a prisoner made these. Something like that. Anyway, let's talk about something fun. Our friend Jon B physically went to the Tokyo Motor Show. Is that true, Jon?
Yeah. Made my way to the Tokyo Motor Show last week. First time there. It was a great experience. Their theme, I guess, is open future. So there were a lot of concepts, a lot of ideas that were shown of, just things that could, or ideas that people have for what the future holds, the future of mobility, and not just vehicles. They're talking about any way to get around, so that whether that includes drones, rescue drones for mountainside rescue, whether that includes drones for surveillance, like forest fire surveillance, forestry surveillance, watershed surveillance. You have walkers, that help the elderly. You have autonomous vehicles for short distance transport, that sort of thing. Like anything that can help people move around. So that was the theme for this year. So it's for me, walking to an auto show, especially one in North America, you expect to see lots of vehicles, whether they're production vehicles or display vehicles. But this year's Tokyo Motor Show, there weren't. A lot of it was just ideas and showcases and booths and interactive booths. Not so much production vehicles. So it was kind of weird. I was kind of hoping to see a lot of the local vehicles as well. But at the same time, it was a good idea, a good experience to kind of see what the other side of the world, I guess, sees as the future. As opposed to something that's, with an American taste or North American taste. The video that Russell has up there, that's the Nissan Ariya. Nissan released that or launched that concept at the Tokyo Motor Show. It's Nissan's idea of a future electric vehicle crossover. They're featuring ProPilot 2.0, and that one will actually be rolling out on the Nissan Skyline. We know it as the Infiniti Q50 sedan in North America. And that actually has highways mapped out. So it's kind of similar to GM's Super Cruise. So because it has the highways mapped out, it can have hands-off highway autonomy. So that's what they're planning to have in this vehicle. They're expecting to have remote parking, which, it's basically like Tesla Summon or BMW Remote Park. Hyundai, I think, is coming out with that in the new Sonata. So it seems like that kind of feature is kind of trickling down to more or opening up to more vehicles. Because this is a concept, there's no indication of range or powertrain, but this basically a showcase for what Nissan wants to have as an electric crossover. This is kind of interesting. This is a Mitsubishi Delica. It's a production vehicle SUV. I just wanted to show the infotainment system here. Actually, sorry if the video's a little laggy, but the idea is that you can swipe around and change the size of the screen of the four different.
That's really cool.
And you can have them at different sizes. It doesn't have to be right in the center.
So you can watch a movie instead of watching the road, basically.
Yeah, I do that.
Or the news.
Well, in Japan, you are allowed to get terrestrial TV in your car, right?
Wow.
Yeah, I mean they've had that for 20 years now.
In the driver's view.
Yep.
Wow.
In motion.
That I'm not sure.
Okay.
But that TV show that you see in the top right was also showing in the rear entertainment system when I folded it down. So it's kind of cool. but the point what I was trying to make is that this entertainment system was unique in that you can slide and choose the different size.
That is
screens.
very cool.
Right, not just simply split screen left and right or up and down. Like you can literally have that as a thumbnail if you wanted to, the TV, and have navigation or phone or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Was that support Linux?
I'm not sure. I didn't ask. I didn't think to ask actually. Okay. Darn it. Moving on to the Lexus booth. Lexus had a large booth. Their center display, of course, is the LF30 Lexus Future electric SUV. It's quite a large vehicle. I'm looking at least a GS sedan in size, maybe an LS, but kind of it's fairly large. And they're again, because it's a concept, part of it's there's a little bit of a language thing. There are people that speak English but not very well. But a lot of the information that I was trying to get out of him, they're saying, it's just a concept car. Don't worry about it. Anything that we show on there, it's not for production. It's just a vision of what Lexus wants. So you may not be able to see it in the video, but for example, where you have this door open at the bottom of the door sill there, it says solid state. So, Lexus wants to have a solid state battery for the vehicle. Spinning using one. I have one of the videos that spin the car around. On the back of the vehicle, Lexus is displaying a rapid wireless charger. So I guess Lexus.
It does say solid state right there.
That door looks impractical.
Maybe that's just the door sill.
That door is totally impractical.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, it's the door that's
you can never
state,
park
right?
beside anybody.
Yeah.
Right.
It's ironic coming from the Model X guy.
Yeah, but the Model X actually folds it. It's somewhat practical.
Yeah, you open that in a city and a truck's going to come by and take the whole door off.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
You must have this much space to open the doors at all times.
Yeah.
Park curbside and just open the door and a pedestrian just flies by. So I guess at the back there's a wireless charger that says rapid fast charger. So again, because it's a concept, I couldn't get any details of how many kilowatts Lexus is envisioning, but I mean that's what they want to have in the future. And yeah.
I mean, it's cute and all, but I don't like the concept. That kind of just, I don't get it. You know what I mean? Like it's not. Well, what's cool about this that I want?
Maybe just some of the accent lines.
It's the in-wheel wireless fast charging motors.
Yeah.
The wireless fast charging and the in-wheel electric motors. So all four wheels have individual motors.
Yeah,
but other than that,
the high-tech stuff. Otherwise, you got unsprung weight.
Of those things, the only thing that I think is actually feasible is the in-wheel motors. I mean, anyone can say wireless fast charging.
Yeah.
But that's not a thing. Yeah, in solid-state batteries. I mean, that's not really a thing.
Not yet.
Yeah, but still, it's a concept, and so they can say whatever the hell they want.
Yeah, but
flies to the moon.
That's one. Yeah.
Were there any actual production cars there?
Not this one though.
Here's one. Yes.
This one.
Well, they did say this was going into production. This LQ.
Oh, did that thing just wink?
It did just wink. Yes, it did. If you go back to the just one more thing before we move on to the LQ. The Lexus will reveal more details at the LA Auto Show in November regarding their plug-in vehicle and their electric vehicle. So right now the rumor is the plug-in is probably an NX and the electric is probably a UX. But who knows? We'll know next.
Well, Toyota said the RAV plug-in's coming, so
which is why the NX is the logical educated guess for Lexus. Yeah.
On the Nissan, their Pro Pilot 2, how does that compare to the GM Super Cruise? Are they about equal, or is it Nissan slightly better, slightly almost as good?
To be honest, I've only watched one video on it.
Same here.
On YouTube. was that video with the red skyline.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So yeah, we watched the same video. So that's all the information I have.
Okay.
At this time, I don't think anyone's done a comparison yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's difference in intent is the biggest difference. And John or Tony or whoever, check me on this. But I mean, ProPilot 2 is something designed primarily in Japan to work in Japan. Okay. Like it certainly has implications that would apply here and that would work here. But I mean, they're really this is the initial deployment is in Japan.
Okay. And so the similarity then would be that they both have the pre-mapping, and then they are different implementations from there.
Yeah, like the super high resolution pre-map has to be loaded in the car for it to work.
Yeah, and they have to make sure that you're watching the road.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it
does make sure that the driver's looking forward.
Yeah. And I can look forward and go to sleep.
Put some of them glasses on with the eyelids.
Yeah.
They did say it worked with sunglasses, right? I think in that video, the ProPilot 2.
Okay, let's talk about this ugly car.
Yeah.
Again, 4-seater electric.
The ugly egg.
I think those of you that read the press release might know that it comes with some sort of a AI assistant called Buoy.
It looks like the one from Halo, Virgil.
Oh. I mean,
why do they need the doors cut open like that?
So they can see what your dress looks like.
Yeah.
Right.
I assume it'll come with proper windows. Right now, where the video is paused, you can see there's just toll booth windows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can't do a proper window because there's a window below. So where's
there's no place for the
mechanism to go.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's like the Subaru XV, the Subaru SVX.
Exactly like that.
A window within a window because there's no real estate to roll the whole window down.
Yeah.
Wow.
And don't even think about going over a curb.
Yeah.
No. Now wait a second. This is concept.
Yeah.
And it's in English.
It's a Gen 2, Mariah.
Yeah.
But we know it's a lightly guised Gen 2.
So Honda style concept.
What's that?
Like how Honda makes the car and then they add stuff to it and they call it concept.
Yeah, add some big wheels and some fanciful spoilers.
Yeah.
It's a concept. Totally.
Maybe delete the mirrors.
Now you get to see inside the car, which is something I didn't get.
Yeah.
I got to see outside the car.
The inside's quite nice. I mean, we couldn't go in.
Yeah. Does it say, are the seats comfortable?
I did not test the Japanese security.
Because that's what you do on your last day because you have to leave anyway.
Watch, some of them came from the Yakuza. They just take you out.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks a lot better than the first generation Mirai.
Yeah.
Definitely the extra length helps with the design. It's 5 passengers again instead of 4, with a larger boot trunk and. I guess longer range. What are we looking at? 500, 600?
Why do they always do 4 seats when they come out with these new high-tech cars?
Not hydrogen tanks in the middle.
Well, I mean, everybody, Chevrolet,
There,
Toyota, it doesn't matter. They have 4 seats. That's it. That's all you get.
There are things that we cannot say. Right, Tony?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a reason.
There's a reason.
Wow, yours actually had that almost seems like a working vehicle. Ours was like fiberglass.
Well, they're building them over there.
Really?
So
it's not. Is it not the same vehicle? Because it's the same.
It is not the same vehicle.
That's the one at the press launch, really? At the one in Charlotte.
Correct.
Really?
Russell got the fiberglass mock-up, and you got
I got the mock-up.
prototype.
You got a real car.
Oh,
in other words, they shipped an empty plastic one here, which makes sense when you think about it.
And then this one just drove down from the design lab.
Russell, did yours say Faraday on the side of it?
It should. No.
That's not a bad looking car.
It's
100% better looking.
It's interesting. Did you get any of the strategy for this car, John, when you were there?
No, I did not. this one was actually at Toyota MegaWeb, so it wasn't actually at the auto show. So there weren't a lot of representatives around, kind of hanging around the car.
There's a.
Yeah.
I have a theory. This is going to be the most expensive Toyota ever. And not a big,
there is a Century, right?
And
in the U.S.
In the
Yeah,
US.
the Land Cruiser.
In the U.S. And I don't know what the Century runs U.S. equivalent, to be honest. Maybe you do.
Isn't it like $1 million? Or
No, it's not.
I don't think that.
it's $1 billion yen. No, it's not enough. Now I gotta look it up.
I don't know.
Yeah, I gotta look.
I got
look
the
it up.
impression from Toyota was saying about the Mirai in Charlotte that it's going to be more expensive, and I want to capitalize and put like a line underneath more than the first gen. It's going to be bigger and more luxurious and more powerful.
Fair. Yeah, that's fair.
But I think we're looking at probably like 70 grand.
At least.
Yeah.
So
Land Cruisers are like
the
85.
Land Cruiser.
Yeah.
Does anyone know what's under the hood?
Air.
All I know
Is
is
it
that
Unicorns.
Yeah. Is it a Frank? What's under there?
No, it's not gonna be a
no,
front.
it's all the hydrogen. I guess the inverters and the motors and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're looking at a 400-mile range, roughly. I'm trying to look at all trying to look up the information here.
And that's it.
There isn't much. Yeah.
No. I mean,
it's rear-wheel drive, I guess. Yeah.
yeah, that was definitely rear-wheel drive in the new one. It's bigger, it's longer, it's faster.
So
So
it's a drift machine.
as
rear-wheel
of
drive?
2009, the Toyota Century was $100,000 or
Wow.
Shit.
11
19
million yen. 11.5
What?
billion yen.
Right now I'm on the Century page and it's 19.9 million.
So it's gone up considerably since then. From
Wow.
2009. Yeah.
How many dollars is that?
19.9 million.
Yeah.
So I changed that from Swedish kroner to Japanese yen.
Well,
183,000.
I got 174,520.
For Toyota.
Okay. 19,962, 963.
Oh, 96.
guys. Well, thank you, John, for that. I mean, any stuff in summary? Any?
Yeah, so I guess the some of the things that people are interested in is the new Mazda MX-30. That's the full electric vehicle.
Oh, yeah.
Small little crossover. It's kind of slots in between a CX-3 and a CX-5 in size. It was on the stage, so it was off limits. But what I can gather, based on my educated guess, it's probably based on the CX-30 that was on the floor, because that is a production vehicle. Because, apparently a CX-3 is too small and a CX-5 is too big, so somebody said, hey, I want something in between. For those that don't know, they're really, really similar in size. We're splitting hairs here. So I think the MX-30 looks to be about the size of a CX-30 with a slope back hatch instead of a more traditional upright hatch. The seating on the CX-30 is decent. Like for someone who's 6 foot, I have just enough rear leg room with me sitting behind myself. My knees just touching the back seat, just to give you a comparison for leg room, front and rear. The trunk space, I guess, I roughly measured it to be like 91 centimeters wide and about 70 deep, 70 centimeters deep, whatever that is in inches.
Wow.
And
How
this is
many
their
Danny
electric?
Coopers is that?
I don't know, 1.5, 1. I don't know. I think the specs probably don't apply to us just because it's a something like a 200 mile or 150 mile range. North America will probably get a bigger battery, and or we might get a range extender type vehicle. So that I guess yep,
They would do a range extender. It sounded like they really didn't want to do a hybrid.
There was an article somewhere about how they wanted to use like a Wankel engine.
Yes, they did want to do that at one point. Yeah.
So I don't know if that's going into the MX, like our version.
Okay.
That's one way to get it around, so they don't have to put a bigger battery. If
they can meet the emissions, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's not ideal. It's not, people want to have a full electric, but in terms of cost, it's might be a little easier, and packaging might be a little easier.
If you can do 100 miles with a range extender, that would cover everybody.
Yeah. So basically, if they had that vehicle as is and just threw in the range extender, it will work well.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, what I've noticed in Tokyo on the streets, there are a lot of Nissan e-Power vehicles, and Nissan only sells 2 e-Power vehicles: the Note and the Serena minivan. Now the Note, we have the Note, Nissan Note here, or Versa Note, I guess. But yeah, the e-Power one, it's
That's the hybrid without the plug?
That is the serial hybrid, yeah.
Okay.
So from what I can gather, from translation, it's a 30-kilometer range, and then the engine, and with the engine, recharging the battery as needed. So the idea is that even if you run out of gas, you still have, if you have a full battery, you still have 30 kilometers left to get to the gas station.
Okay.
And the total range is about 1,000 kilometers.
Okay. Well, let's. Thanks for that, John. I appreciate it. And that you hand carried video back from Japan is pretty cool.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah,
Not
that, it was an
I just
interesting
don't
video,
understand. I'm gonna have to double check my email address because I didn't see the email in which you invited me to go with you. We'll have to double check to see that you have the right address.
Okay. I was going to mention, I've missed going to auto shows with you guys.
Well,
yeah.
All
right, Tony, we're going to chat.
It's been over 10 years now.
Well, LA is next month.
I don't have any days off yet. I just started
we got Chicago in February because everybody loves going to Chicago in February.
I might can do that. I don't know when I transition over. We'll have to look and see.
Yeah, Tony, I might drop by.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
All right.
That'd be beautiful. Well, speaking of Paul, our next story comes from Mr. Paul Guzik.
Who's muted?
Who's muted? Paul, you're muted. No talk?
I'm back.
Thank you.
Yeah, so somehow I came across an article that's many months old, but there is an airline from my hometown in Vancouver, BC, Harbour Air, that wants to be the world's first all-electric airline. And they're working with a company out of Seattle and doing a conversion of gas turboprop airplanes. Now, they're not, 737s or anything. These are small puddle jumpers, primarily a route. I don't know if your geography, like Vancouver, Victoria is a 30-minute flight, but it's a 4-hour drive because you have to drive from the city to the ferry, take a ferry to the island, then take another drive to get to the city center. So it's very popular for people to take these little airplanes and go on a 30-minute flight. And 30 minutes you can do on batteries with today's technology. Yeah. So
with the proper reserves and everything.
Yeah, so it's a pretty cool idea. Range anxiety might come into effect if they do longer flights, but electric motors are very reliable, and hopefully they'll have some battery technology that's reliable and redundant. And it would be very cool to take a 30-minute, 1-hour flight, and not only is it no fossil fuels, but it's very quiet. So these are buzzing over the city centers, landing in the harbor. You definitely hear the gas-powered planes coming in, so it will make a better environment for the residents of the area. So
this one sounds like a big drone.
Yeah.
And they are seaplanes.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so they land right in the harbor.
Downtown.
So from the photos, it looks like it's about 3-4 times bigger than the Siemens plane.
Well, they're based on traditional planes that I think take anywhere from like 6 to 20 people, depending on the size.
The Siemens is what? Still 2 seats before it burned up? It did burn up. The Siemens electric plane, it was a sport plane, and it burned up.
Oh.
During testing. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. But it's cool that we talk about cars and motorcycles, and now there's e-planes. Yeah. And I think instead of calling it a seaplane, they call it an E-plane.
Electrify all the things.
Yeah.
And the other bonus with that type of plane, of course, is that if something does go wrong during testing, they glide a little bit better than the bigger planes.
Yes.
Right. And they're flying over water and they have pontoons. So if they had to bail, they can land in the ocean. They probably survive.
And they don't have to dump their fuel if something does go on this.
Well, they could dump their batteries if they need to.
that would change the dynamic a great deal.
Dump.
Orcas might have something to say about that.
Yeah.
What the heck?
But yeah, I thought this article and the idea I thought was really cool. And they did talk about the going over the sound and and how pristine it is. And so how they are doing everything they can to be carbon neutral and reduce the pollution of the environment that they enjoy flying over.
Yeah.
So kudos for them.
Yeah.
If we can get
and that whole sort of Northwest Triangle, Vancouver, the San Juan Islands, Victoria, Seattle, all of those probably in the next 5 to 10 years could be handled by electric aircraft. And there's a lot of planes. I think this company says they already transport 500,000 people a year in their little planes across these areas.
Yeah, if we could transition shipping and airlines to electric and cargo trucks, that would take care of a great deal of our carbon.
Mm-hmm. And also expose more people to electric transportation.
Right.
Yeah.
A good thing all the way around. Well, Tony has our next story about further EV development.
Yeah, so this is just a real quick. It is actually just an amazingly short article from Reuters, but I think it's going to hopefully bring in a larger discussion between the group here. So Mary Barra of GM had said in response to a question that she believes that electric vehicles are going to get more funding than gasoline-powered vehicles over the next 5 years. So, let's hope that that is the truth, and that GM does funnel more money towards research and development in terms of EVs. And then one other thing that came up was somewhere in here, what was it, that EVs will require, in quotes, somewhat less labor than gas-powered cars. And that, of course, irks the United Auto Workers Union, because the UAW, of course, doesn't want to see anyone be let go as they transition from ICE cars to EVs. Now, my take on this was she emphasized that gas-powered vehicles will make up a large portion of the U.S. sales into the 2030s. So we're talking 20 more years of ICE cars. So 20 more years of building internal combustion engine vehicles. So the way I see it, all you have to do really is cross-train and reassign, and as people retire or leave the
we lost
audio.
Hey, Tony.
Tony, we lost you.
Last thing we heard was cross training as the people retire, which is a great idea. Keep going.
Yeah, I don't know. Can you hear me yet?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know what you guys think, but of course, it's a positive thing that they're putting more money into to EVs, and then we know, like, Tesla wants to do full robotics, moving so fast you can't see them, and everyone knows that there's fewer parts in EVs, and we've talked about that many times. Do you guys see? And I don't want to say a labor revolt as we transition toward EVs, but I thought this article starts hinting on the topic of how transitioning to EVs is going to affect the labor workforce. I don't know. What
you don't need people to cast piston rings and pistons and piston connectors and crankshafts anymore.
Right.
But those would be on the supplier side, right? That wouldn't be on the plant, right?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Okay.
Yeah, some of the plants like make their own engines and stuff.
Yeah.
But there's definitely going to be a reduction in labor required across the base of building a car. Like, there's no doubt. If you add suppliers into the manufacturers, there's definitely going to be a transition.
Yeah, but there's already a shit ton of robots and automation in factories displacing humans, and that's been going on for 30 years in the car industry.
And also the maintenance, on the maintenance end, there'll be a lot less people touching it as well. But like Tony said, if they do it smartly and they get, as people retire, and they just keep cross training the people who aren't retiring, they can manage this very smoothly if they want to.
Because this this quote unquote loss in job is running on the assumption that you're doing the same work.
Yeah.
Right. But of course, as we transition to electric,
anybody have the data, like how many GM employees were there in the 70s versus now? I mean, it's a fraction of what there used to be.
Yeah.
Factory
workers. Yeah.
But the other thing you got to look at is that some of those factory workers will not be able to transition into the new job. They're not going to be able to be a software engineer. They're not going to be able to do some other skill. It's going to be tougher for someone that's been there for a number of years to transition to a completely new type of job.
Well, even if they didn't predict that they could go 20 more years, a lot of those jobs will still go away through automation or efficiency gains.
Yeah, and maybe they're not monitoring the engine casting machine anymore. Now they're monitoring the battery copper wire winding machine. You know, there's got to be some level of similarities.
And some of those jobs may be going to Mexico or China anyway. So.
Oh, jeez. You're just a ray of sunshine, Paul.
Wow, aren't you? Holy. I mean, I'm kind of on the side where we can panic about new technology, or we can embrace it and we can find other jobs. If they can't build cars, then maybe they can transition to building other renewables, whether it's solar or wind or geothermal.
Charging stations.
You know, there's certainly, we have a weird aversion to hiring humans. We just hate it. So it's like when one job goes away, it's like a huge loss when it really shouldn't be.
Yeah.
There should be other opportunities. There shouldn't just be one opportunity for someone, you know.
I read an article this week about one of the largest privately owned coal. Did you guys see this? Like a coal mine went bankrupt, and people were talking about all the jobs they were losing. But things. Oh, I see what's going on. Did I mute again?
Yeah, you did.
You did.
Yeah. Okay. But there are other companies that are transitioning their previous fossil fuel jobs to renewables, keeping those people on staff and even growing their business. So definitely the jobs are there. They just need to transition wisely.
They should train them to go mine solar panels.
Right. Oh my God, you've got it. That's perfect.
If you dig down far enough, there's lots of solar panels. You can dig them up.
I have to kill myself. Ay.
So yeah, I mean that was it. Just hopefully GM is going to put more money into EVs, and again, as far as the people are involved, hopefully they do it wisely.
There you go. Well, Mark has a story about good news, but new things maybe we could be building.
Speaking of transitioning to other electric forms of transportation, the Toronto Transit Commission, the TTC, the largest, I guess it would be the largest public transit in Canada, has purchased 25 EV buses from Proterra. And they've added them to their bus fleet, which already has 10 electric buses from New Flyer Industries. And they're going to be picking up another 25 from BYD. So they're going to have a test fleet of 60 electric buses by 2020 next year. And it's great to see that they're testing out the different types of vehicles and putting them on different routes and seeing what they can expect from them in operation mode. These Proterra buses, apparently, details are pretty slim here in the article, but they do indicate they take about 3 hours to fully charge, and that will last about 200 kilometers or 120 miles. So that's about the detail. It doesn't say anything about what the kilowatts of the battery is, but 200 kilometers or 120 miles should be fine for any bus fleet manager to operate. Certainly in the city of Toronto, that's not going to be an issue at all.
Yeah.
I mean, that's including HVAC, because I mean,
Yeah.
to heat a bus
depends,
in the
yeah.
winter in Toronto takes a lot of energy.
Yeah, they will be definitely being put. Those will definitely be put through the paces when January hits.
They'll hand you a sweater when you get on.
And,
the bus.
Right.
You'll get a TTC sweater when you get on the bus.
You only really have to heat up the cabin once, and as long as you never open the windows or the door,
as long as you
That's
never
true.
let it on or off, you're good.
right?
Well, the
right,
people will
right,
give off heat, right? You put enough people
Yes.
in the bus at rush hour that
right, right.
So
pack 'em in like the subway.
people,
Really work for the commission. I think that would be a plus. Yeah.
typically
people give off. I want to say people give off. I think it's 450 BTUs per person per hour.
Right.
So
Based on
you can take
based on
that
the
into
matrix.
consideration.
Right?
So you just got to put more people in each bus.
And how about the insulation on their body? Does that affect the BTU give off?
I
really.
don't know. That's what we use.
No, you
that's
have
what
more
we use
surface
for
area.
HVAC for our
I was
calculation.
just saying, like naked people better than, you know.
So the TTC certainly will track all three types of buses through the different seasons, and hopefully we'll be able to see a report in a year as to how each brand handled the Canadian winter, as well as other circumstances.
Typically, these buses run anywhere from 85 kilowatt hours to 300 kilowatt hours for the battery pack.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's great. It's 60 buses. 60. That's a lot of electric
lot of
buses.
buses.
And 3 different companies. So you've got a little bit of a competition going on. And this is great. I now want to go to Toronto just to ride the buses.
You don't have diesel spewing. You don't have the maintenance of that. You don't have complicated transmissions because you've got all the torque with electric to push an empty bus, push a full bus. It's not going to care. It's just going to push it. So,
yeah.
Very cool.
So
Very
if
cool.
I'm looking at the website and based on you said what 120 miles?
Yep.
So it's possible they picked up on the XR, the Proterra XR. So that's 220 kilowatt hours.
There you go.
97 to 188. 97 to 188. 118 miles.
Here in the DC area, they actually have kind of in between by the interstate. There's like a whole bunch of places for these buses to pull over and use their quick chargers.
Very cool.
Yeah.
There we go. Well, Tony, I think, is it Tony back at,
Oh,
Tony got some news about
Mark?
Tesla in China. Actually, not about Tesla, but
Hang on,
So-
we need a story about electric trains because we've done planes, trains, and automobiles. Well, we need the trains, right?
Yeah.
I
Well, the good thing
actually,
is that most trains are hybrids.
we had a guy go to Tokyo. Okay, we don't have a story about electric trains. I'm sorry.
All right.
Yeah, and
They were
you know
flooded,
what?
unfortunately.
Casey's actually right because the Metra here in the Chicagoland area are electric, but they actually have diesel motors to charge the electric batteries. So they're kind of serial hybrid. Yeah. Anyway, I want to talk about a gigafactory in China, but not a Tesla factory. So, Volkswagen is ramping up their China endeavor, their EV. And what they are doing is, and this is the very first sentence, Volkswagen is ramping up production of electric cars to around 1 million vehicles by the end of 2022, according to manufacturing plans. 1 million by 2022. That's crazy. So you might be saying, how are they going to do that? Well, it turns out that Volkswagen already has 2 fully functioning factories in China, I forgot the cities, but there's two. And what they're going to do is, rather than saying, okay, so we have these internal combustion engine cars, and then we're going to go hybrids, and from hybrids we're going to go EVs, Volkswagen is just jumping in. So those two factories are going to be the first two factories they're transitioning from internal combustion engines to all EVs. Their plan is to basically maintain the manufacturing speed. And it says the production capacity of 600,000 vehicles per year. And so then they do a little comparison, and they said Tesla is still trying to reach its goal of making more than 500,000 cars a year. And then this is, of course, Volkswagen has two of these. So that's where they come up with more than 1 million. And then, as though that's not enough, Volkswagen is also looking at doing other factories around the world to switch them straight from internal combustion engine to electric vehicles. And so Volkswagen is in with both feet, and the current expectation is that within 2 to 3 years, they could be manufacturing hundreds of thousands and possibly millions of electric vehicles. The one thing they didn't mention in this is they did say they're looking to leverage their existing infrastructure of suppliers. But the big question is, when you're building internal combustion engine cars, you just have to build the tank. You just have to put the gas tank in the car and let the consumer worry about the fuel. So if you're going to be manufacturing 1 million or more cars a year, there better be many battery suppliers downstream or upstream making a buttload of batteries. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Are they going to be able to pull this off?
Well, so Tesla said at their last investor meeting that they were going to do 590,000 cars next year. So that's doable if you do it with two factories. Mm-hmm. And you've been in business for over 100 years.
They Volkswagen certainly knows how to build cars.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So if you take their institutional knowledge and two factories, you can definitely do what Tesla's trying to do with 1.5 factories.
And the one thing they in this article, it did do a quote from Elon that said basically, so much respect for those doing high volume manufacturing. It's insanely hard. My hat's off to you. Yeah.
Yeah, because you have one truck of widgets can't get to the plant on time, and the
whole thing is held up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You better hope it's the sun visors.
This is going to be crazy. I want to mark my calendar. That can be
slapped on at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to mark my calendar for 2 years in the future, and then come back and revisit this and see, whether it came true.
I just like that Volkswagen's actually following through on this rather than just giving us lip service with the EV stuff.
Yeah, and then I think they just released a teaser for. Oh, is it for the LA Auto Show as well?
Yeah.
It basically looks like the ID Vision full-size sedan, right? Because we've seen the ID3, we've seen the ID Cross, or what might be called the ID4 SUV. So the next one down the line is the ID Vision full-size sedan, and I guess the last one will be the microbus or whatever it's going to be called.
So just think if the press release people actually would also build cars, they might have another model or two every year than what they tell us about.
Oh, right. Yeah. And I did find it here. It says that Volkswagen is going to retool 2 factories in Germany, 1 in the Czech Republic, and Chattanooga, Tennessee in the United States.
Okay, so they'll have some local ones.
Yeah. Yeah. So that'll be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 factories by 2023.
Tennessee's becoming a hotbed of EV production.
Yeah, they had the Leaf there for
handing out lots of money.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are they building their own battery plant, or are they continuing to try to sell that off? The one that they had, I think Nissan.
Not sure.
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know that.
I know that Volkswagen was locking down capacity left and right because you need a lot of cells to make a lot of cars.
Now, there is one more thing I want to show with this article. There was a link in the Reuters article to what they call the visual article, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here real quick, because what you can see is, which country is the big winner in terms of electric vehicle. So this shows the origin and where the company is based and where they're going to be spending the money. And you can see that almost everyone is funneling money into China, the big winner. So China itself is investing $57 billion, but they're total receiving $135 billion. So that's like 70 billion or 80 that they're getting from, and a lot of it is coming straight from Germany.
Yeah, it looks like they get all of Sweden's output.
Yeah. So, I mean, I remember hearing a long time ago, China plays the long game. And this is one of those examples where China has set themselves up to be the manufacturing hub, the technology hub, hey, come to China, spend your money in China. They're getting all this fresh money from other countries.
There's also a large untapped market, right, for vehicle ownership. So that and the policy to, ban combustion vehicles, right? That kind of sets up the ideal scenario for electric vehicle sales, manufacturing, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for that, Tony. That's about all we have time for this week. Sadly, there's one story that Casey and I were going to argue vehemently over.
Yes.
Let's put that off until next week.
Okay.
And I'm not even going to tease it. But if you want to see Casey and I argue, fight
hey,
like
if you want to
warriors.
But if you want to tease, Russell, I've got a tease for next week. We're not going to be talking about that article next week.
Wow.
We are going to have a special guest next week.
Oh.
We are?
We are.
This is not a tease. Announcement.
It's not a good teaser. Do I tease it, or do we just let people hang as a cliffhanger and they have to tune in?
Well, Russell's currently hanging already. So
Yeah.
Okay, if I'm off next week, I'm off.
Now, Russell's been copied on the emails. So next week, we have been. It turns out that a gentleman named Chris Anthony has reached out to us. And it turns out that Chris Anthony happens to be the CEO of Aptera.
Ah.
And he said,
won't be there.
and he said, hey, I recently saw a video in which you were talking about Aptera. What do you say I come on the show and we can talk about the company in the car? And we are going to be doing that next week.
I'm looking forward to it.
Wow.
Anybody want to lay odds on this right now?
I'm looking forward to it.
Finishes or about how
I'm
you'll
totally looking forward to it. I sent them emails saying, "Hey, I'm local. I'd love to come by and see you guys and say hi and chat."
Yeah.
And I haven't heard back. And then Tony got this thing, and I was like, "Yeah, that's lightning out of a clear blue sky."
See these baby blues? I just do the blinkies.
See,
yeah.
Tony's smooth and suave, man.
just like that car at the Tokyo show.
Winky, winky.
Winky, winky.
Nice. Well, let's do some shout-outs and go home. Let's start with Casey Green.
All right. Oh, crap. The thing just jumped. Here we go. I got it for you. Does it share my screen?
Yes.
All right. Here we go.
Well, is your screen a road?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, no. This isn't going to end tragically with a...
This
is a teaser for my video this week.
Whoa!
One of my videos.
Casey logo.
Yeah. Right here.
Cool.
Whoa.
Yeah. Beer bottle.
Casey found something to run over.
Was that a camera mount fail or...
No. I ran over a beer bottle with the Model X.
Oh. You ran over a beer bottle.
Yeah. Not on purpose. I was doing a supercharger review, and then there was a glass beer bottle in the middle of the road. But you can find it at youtube.com/Casey Green. KACYGREEN.
All right.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay,
Yeah.
Casey, stop sharing. There, thank you so much. And next to him, Mr. Mark Coughlin.
Just a shout out to the Waterloo Region EVA. We've got a meeting coming up this Friday at the Evolve 1 Center at 7 p.m. If you're interested or in the area, we'd love to see you. Just send us a note and let us know if you want to attend.
Thank you so much. That's perfect. Jon B.
None for me this week.
Nothing to plug.
Nothing to plug this week.
Do you want to plug the fine nation of Canada or something? I mean,
Everybody already knows that, Russell.
you are the president, after all.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't outreach part of your job? Man, you Canadians are so.
Your president's doing it for us.
Oh, Jesus. Thank God. Thank you. Oh,
Isn't he building a wall?
In Colorado.
everywhere. Yeah. Yeah. He's building walls everywhere.
Well, we do have that tree break.
Well, speaking of, let's see. Next up, Mr. Paul Guzik, please take it away. Is he building a wall, dude?
Yes, there's a forthcoming wall in Colorado, but until the wall is built, if you have a hybrid or electric car and need it serviced, come to my shop in Boulder. Our website is boulderhc.com. And if you're looking to buy a previously enjoyed hybrid or electric car, go to boulderh.com. And if you're passing through, come by and say hi sometime. Right, Mark?
Right, Paul.
Was that a like a
Little bit of a dig. Yeah, just a bit.
oh,
Yeah.
damn. That's all I got. Tony, you got to put this on a better, on a feel good feel.
On a feel-good feel, I want to give a shout-out to Anthony Brown, who might just be one of my new favorite friends. Anthony left this comment saying that this is one of the few YouTube channels where the participants share a common interest, but at the same time are different in execution. And I teared up a little because it just might be the nicest thing anyone's ever said about us.
He really, really
Thanks,
was.
man.
Thank you.
I love you.
I do too. I love you too, man.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Anthony.
Also, shout out to Philip Barclay, who, along with myself, feeds articles into our Flipboard channel. And if you use Flipboard as a news aggregator, make sure you look for the What Drives Us magazine. You can read the articles that we're reading. You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/What Drives Us. Leave us comments, suggest news items, or just like the page. And then every once in a while, again, you can see the articles that we're reading. And yeah, honestly, good comments, bad comments, you can tell us we're full of shit. We don't really care. Half the time we are. But yeah, so just find us on our social media.
I just want to get this right. The CEO of Aptera has contacted you and said he wants to be on the show next week.
I know, right? I was like, are you sure this is the right show? Because I even said in the reply, I said, dude, we were not kind to you. And
Yeah,
he
have
said,
you listened to the show?
I want to buy one.
I know, right?
Casey
Yeah.
does want to buy one. He did say that.
Yeah.
He did say that.
So, next week. And so today's October 30th. So that'll be in 7 days. So that'll be October 37th.
I'll be here on the 37th. Absolutely.
Okay.
Hells to the yeah.
So that would actually be November 6th.
Damn it.
Case.
There's that math again. I don't know where you
Facts,
guys are doing getting this.
As always, I want to thank Michael Mannering for his amazing theme music. You can visit him at manthing.com, where you can buy or just maybe even listen for free. His music, by the way, those of you in the Midwest, maybe you're in the general Missouri area, maybe January 21st, maybe you want to see Michael Mannering play in an intimate house concert setting. You'll have your chance on January 21st. Hosted by none other than our own Dr. Evan Fusco.
There we go.
Wow.
Now, how
Sweet.
horrifying is that? Just for the
You had
love
me
of
up to
God,
that point.
go and save Michael from Evan, okay? He's a nice
Yeah.
guy, Michael is. Evan will just, I'm afraid. No. Anyway, if you're near Springfield, Missouri, January 21st, there might be some tickets left. There are just a handful of tickets to see this, so have to plug it because it's Michael and it's Evan, and I love them both. You can visit us on social media. Oddly enough, we're usually called What Drives Us. What Drives Us on evil Facebook. That's facebook.com/ delete your account right now.
Yeah. Mark Zuckerberg is evil.
I'm not going to facebook.com/ What Drives Us. We're at What Drives Us on Twitter. And of course, youtube.com/ What Drives Us. Thank you, all 1,030 subscribers. Thank you so much. That is huge. That is beautiful. Keep hitting that subscribe button. Keep suggesting the show to friends. We love your support. We need it desperately, and we appreciate it a great deal. I want to personally thank everyone on this show, and it's a lot of names, so I'm going to have to read them from a list. No, it's Casey Green, Mark Coughlin, Paul Guzik, Jon B, Tony Schaefer, and me. But
Yes.
we do the show for you. I'm sorry, Tony. Go ahead.
No, it's you.
You were just
Russell.
agreeing. It's me.
Yeah.
We do the show for all of you who watch and or listen every week. Thanks so much. Download us next week and find out what drives us. See you later, folks. Thank you.